Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today is a good day because we're going to be taking the Mavic Air 2 out for its first flight. The weather's meant to be nice. I found a couple of good spots, so I'm really looking forward to it. But first I want to take you through what you get in the Mavic Air 2 Fly More combo box. So I've already unboxed the Mavic Air 2, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what is included in the box if you buy the Fly More combo. So first we've got the drone here, and that has a battery in it already, and then you do get 2 spare batteries, which is pretty nice too. This is the remote control with the sticks on it already. The sticks go in the bottom here. It is a bigger remote control than the original Mavic Air, but it does have some advantages which I'll go through in another video. This is the bag. I didn't use the bag at all for the original Mavic Air. This one actually is a little bit nicer, so I'll probably use it a little bit more, but I do have a couple more bags which I'll be taking the drone around in. You get the manuals, nothing special, just the normal quick start guide, etc. Then we've got some spare propellers, which is always really nice, just in case they break. Some wires here in case you want to connect your phone to either an iPhone, USB-C or micro USB, it's all included, and obviously all the charging gear. Now I'm going to pack all this into my Peak Design bag and I'm going to go fly it for the first time. Okay, so I found a nice open space that I can probably demonstrate some of the quick shots you can do on the Mavic Air 2. So while I'm waiting for the sun to come out, I'm going to do some quick shots on the drone. Then I'm going to sit down and film my complete features and settings guide to the Mavic Air 2, which will be in a separate video. So it's a couple of days later now, and I've had a chance to look over some of the photos and some of the videos I've taken on the Mavic Air 2. It's been on a couple of flights now, and I wanted to show you some of the footage and share with you my thoughts. It's not going to be a full review. I feel like you need to use a product for a bit longer to get a full review, but it's more pre-review thoughts. I'll also have a video coming up which is a complete guide to all the features and the settings in the Mavic Air 2. So we'll go through all the photo and video modes with examples, and then we'll go through the settings. So if that's something you'd like to see, then hit the thumbs up on this video and subscribe with the bell icon to be notified when that comes out. So let's get straight into the drone. My first thoughts about it was going to be a little bit bigger than the Mavic Air. And while it is bigger, it's definitely not as big as the Mavic 2 Pro, so it still kind of fits into that small drone category. Overall, it's built really well. I found it really easy to set up. The only thing I didn't like is the plasticky gimbal cover on the front, which to take off you literally just have to bend it out of place. Taking a look at the remote then, again it's much bigger than the Mavic Air 2 remote. I assume this has something to do with the Occusync technology. But overall, it actually works really well. It's easy to put your phone inside. All you have to do is lift that up, and then you just put your phone in that little gap there. The wire is hidden nicely in here, so all you have to do is take the wire out and attach it to your phone. Much easier than the original Mavic Air remote control, where it was really fiddly, you know, pulling the things out, getting the wire into the thing, and it wasn't very good for big phones either. So this actually works much better. The antennas are also built into here, so you don't have to worry about flicking them up and turning them the right way and, you know, fiddling around with them until you get signal. And talking of signal, gone is that horrible Wi-Fi connection from the original Mavic Air, and it's been replaced with Occusync 2.0 technology, which just allows the drone to fly a lot further without losing any signal. If you're abiding by UK laws, it will easily get to line of sight without losing signal in pretty much every situation. I cannot tell you how much of a game changer this is. I've flown for around 2 hours now and didn't lose signal once. It did actually pop up with a warning message once saying I was about to lose signal, but it didn't affect the flight whatsoever. The Wi-Fi transmission on the original Mavic Air used to cut out left, right and centre, so I can't tell you how valuable it is to have a reliable transmission system. Now let's talk about the video and photo quality. If you haven't heard, this drone now does 4K 60, and the 4K quality is really good. There is a little bit of noise in the shadows still if you start pixel peeping. That's a side effect of both the small sensor and the over sharpening that DJI does. Like many people, I really wish DJI would stop over sharpening their footage and allow us to change that either in post or through the app, which I'll get into later. The 2.7K is usable if you want to step down to that, and the HD is okay, which is kind of frustrating because the quick shots are actually only available in 1080p at 30 frames, so you won't be able to slow them down and it look awkward in a 4K timeline, just because the difference in quality is definitely noticeable. Personally, I never used the quick shots on the old Mavic Air, at least for professional use, but it would have been nice to have 2.7K at least. You also get full HD at 120 frames per second or 240 frames per second for super slow-mo, but the quality is just bad, and if you're watching it on anything bigger than a phone screen, you're going to notice that the quality is bad, so I don't recommend using this unless you really want to get that super slow-mo footage or something. Otherwise, I'd use 4K at 50 at 60 frames and slow it down by 50%. For video, there's also a HDR mode, which I surprisingly enjoyed quite a lot. I don't know if I'll use it for professional use just because it's not particularly flat and doesn't allow much room for colour grading, but it definitely does improve the dynamic range and it makes those colours a little bit punchier. It's really nice to see that these cameras with small sensors are getting to see some of that automatic processing that we see in mobile phones, as I really think the combination between the hardware and the software is essential when getting the most out of these small sensors. I recommend the HDR is going to be used if you don't need to color grade afterwards, or if you're in a particularly difficult situation in terms of dynamic range. Photo wise, the regular 12 megapixel photos look great and I can't complain. The 48 megapixel photos do make things a little bit sharper, but it's nothing to write home about. And there's also an option for smart photo, which is quite confusing because I actually didn't notice any difference to the 12 megapixel photo at all. So if someone can tell me what that's supposed to do, then I'd be grateful for that. One huge thing to mention actually is battery life. On the Mavic Air, I'd take it out for maybe 10-15 minutes and I'd have to land it or take it back to me just because the drone would start beeping and saying it's low on battery. On this, I probably get 20-25 minutes out of it at least, so the battery life has considerably increased, and that really does make a difference to your productivity and how confident you are in flying it to certain places. So it does make all the difference that the battery life has been increased on this, and I'm really impressed with it. Of course, this is all tied together by the software used to fly the drone, and that is the DJI Flight app. For the most part, I really enjoyed this, and I didn't see much of a difference between the old software that you used to fly the original Mavic Air and this DJI Flight app. There is something missing though, and that is the ability to dive into the picture profiles and change the sharpness and contrast settings, which I think is really needed when dealing with cameras that apply such aggressive post-sharpening. So it's disappointing not to have that. Again, I have a video coming out which is a full features and settings guide for the Mavic Air 2, where we explore this app a little bit more. So if you want to see that, leave a thumbs up down below and do subscribe to be the first to be notified when this comes out. Overall, I'm extremely happy with this drone. I'm yet to find a downside to it for what I use it for, and for wedding videographers, travel filmmakers, casual users, or small corporate businesses, I think it's an absolute no-brainer and definitely one of the best drones out there. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you've got any questions or comments about the Mavic Air 2, then do leave them down below and I'll be sure to get back to you. And if you want to see more videos like this, including my complete guide on the features and settings of the Mavic Air 2, then subscribe and hit that bell notification button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. So in video we have three modes here. We have normal, HDR and slow motion. Let's start on normal and we get the option, of course, 4K 50 or 4K 60, a really great addition to this drone and actually not available on the Mavic Pro, so that's quite nice. We also have 2.7K, which is available up to 60 frames a second again, and 1080p, which is available up to 60 frames a second on a normal mode. Switching over to HDR, we have a slightly more limited amount of options here. So we have 4K in up to 30 frames a second. I guess the processor can't do 4K 60 while still applying the HDR effect, which is fine. 4K 30 has been more than enough for me with the Mavic Air, the first edition of it. Obviously 2.7K up to 30 frames and 1080p up to 30 frames. So in HDR you're not going to be getting that slow motion, but most of the time you don't need anyway because you're often flying a drone with those sort of slow movements to get that cinematic look.